Hey guys, so today's video is a one topic video about Acacia Brindley, or Kersey. I think she's now changed her surname. She used to be known as Brindley. And just a few things that she's done recently, mainly one story, but I'll be covering a few other things just briefly, just to give you some context. My social media will be in the description along with my beauty channel, anything else you need to find. And subscribe, hit that bell, like, comment for engagement. Also, YouTube has been removing spam bots, which usually also means just random people that want to watch my content. So if you remember being subscribed, scroll down, make sure you are subscribed. Really important. And let's just get into it. So Acacia Brindley was a girly that basically blew up on Tumblr, from what I remember. So she blew up on Tumblr. Everyone wanted to look like her in like 2013, and then she started dating one of the guys from O2L, and then they broke up, and there was like a whole big drama. All the girls hated her. Like, it was just like a mess. I remember that being like a time of my life that I was like, oh my, it's like my first introduction to drama. I was like, oh my god, what is happening here? Oh, it was insane. Anyway, I was like 13 at the time. And since then, she has gotten married, she has had 2 children, she has had animals, she's had like an adult life. But there are some scandals. So the first one is, I mean, I'm not going to comment on these. I feel like they're really weird things for me to comment on. And people are saying that Rosie, the daughter, is being mistreated because she does have an illness that the other daughter doesn't have. And apparently they're being treated very differently. Now, I'm not going to comment on that. I don't watch enough of her content to be able to make a judgment call on that. I don't want to talk about this if I haven't watched enough content. And also I don't know, this is just one of those topics that makes me feel a bit icky, so I'm not going to comment on that. Then I remember there being an Airbnb lie, where she went to an Airbnb and she lied about the quality of it, and then the person who had the Airbnb came out and posted pictures of like what the accommodation looked like, and that apparently like she tried to ruin their career because she couldn't plan accordingly to the Airbnb listing. Then we had a past of problematic tweets, videos, mainly that she was then called out for. And then we had abandoning animals. So she would get animals, then when it was inconvenient for her to have them, she would abandon them, then get another animal, and then it's stuff like that. So those are her past issues that people have had problems with, and there are many more you can look into on different forums and different stuff like that they keep, you know, different archives of her scandals on, but those are like the main ones. So now we're getting into Ashley Levi. So she's a photographer. She does like presets for Lightroom. Lightroom is a photo editing app that is used kind of by professionals on their phone. It's kind of like quick editing. You can get like professional results. You can like bring up the exposure and bring up brilliance and vibrancy and tint. It's not like Facetune where you're like photoshopping your pictures. It's more so just like filters and stuff like that you can use on Instagram to like have a nice cohesive feed if that's what you want, you know, make it more cool toned, warm toned, saturated, stuff like that. And there are many photographers who use Lightroom and they make presets that they can then sell. And if you want to use those presets and have your pictures look a specific way, you can buy like bundles of presets. So there'll be like summertime ones, springtime ones, moody ones, warm toned ones, you know, like stuff like that. And then you can have like your whole, you basically just put a picture onto Lightroom, you add the preset, you can adjust it a tiny bit and then post it straight to Instagram without having to do all the presetting yourself, because it does get pretty confusing. Like, I never know what to do with it. And actually, because of this whole scandal, I actually went over to Ashley Levi's website. Well, I went to her Instagram. From her Instagram, I went to her photography Instagram for like the presets, and I went to the website and I bought 2 bundles of presets. Now I just have like random Lightroom presets that I'm having a lot of fun with. I'm just like adding them to different pictures and they're really fun. So like I would recommend, if you want to amp up your Instagram game, you can buy some presets and they're so cool. Like, they're so cute looking. I bought spring ones and I bought the summertime ones. So at the end of the day, I hope that something good comes out of this, because she deserves the exposure. Like, the presets are amazing, and apparently she makes them a lot more complicated than some people. Like, she'll play around with like a bunch of like professional stuff, professional settings that I'm just unaware of. So Ashley Levi sells these bundles of presets if you want to make your Instagram game really good. And Acacia also sells presets for Instagram. She makes them a lot more simple. Just, she does like basic edits. Ashley Levi goes on Acacia's Instagram and sees that Acacia posted a picture that looked like a preset that she had been selling, Ashley Levi. So she's like, oh, that looks kind of like my preset. And she kind of knows what her presets look like because she makes them so specific that she can pretty much factually check like who's using her presets. Anyway, she notices that Acacia's using her presets and she gets really happy about that, because she's like, oh my god, a big person using my presets. But then she's like, she didn't credit me for the preset, which like she doesn't have to, but like it would be nice if she did, because she's a big account. Of course, if you buy a preset, you don't have to credit someone every single time. But she was like, oh, maybe something like is going to come out of this. We can do like a little collab or something. Anyway, so Acacia's posting this, and then she starts posting more pictures of her presets. And then she releases a preset bundle that is basically Ashley's presets, but just slightly adjusted. But like essentially edit for edit Ashley's presets that she's like spent days, weeks working on. So she then checks and she finds out by emails and stuff that Acacia had bought Ashley's presets before. She bought them, and in the, like, when you buy them, you can see exactly what settings were made. Like, you can't, it's not like you get this like preset and you can't see what was done to it. You can essentially buy it and then see exactly what was done to it and copy that. So she commented on one of the pictures. Acacia then basically responds nothing to do with the presets, and then she releases these presets and makes thousands of dollars from them, is what Ashley had found out. Anyway, Ashley DMs her and is like, hi, I think you copied like 6 of my presets. They're pretty much like exactly down to the T what I released. I just think it's like a little bit, you know, like unfair that you're making money from this. Acacia then starts like going in circles. She's like, it's just a few presets, it's just one preset. And then she's like, I had all of these pre-prepared, but then I took some like inspiration from you. And she's like, well, it's not inspiration because you pretty much copied them, like 6 of them. And then she actually found out that there were 12 or 14 that she had copied at that point. Not just 6, not 1. 12. It's just really awkward. There's a lot of like Acacia saying, oh, I had 6 done, and then I had 12 done, and I had 20 done. Like, she keeps on changing the story all the time, so it just looks like she's lying about a lot of things or just panicking. Then in further messages, Acacia admits to stealing these from her. Essentially said that she took them and she tweaked them a tiny bit and then she sold them on as her own presets. But then she doesn't really apologize. She's just more like, well, I had to make money. I'm like, you know, I only have this much in my bank account. Like, she tells her how much money she has. She's like, I had to make money. Like, this can't be made public because people hate me. They already hate me so much. They're gonna give me so much hate for this. Like, you can't make this public. But then she like never really apologized. Acacia then offers to pay, but she only offers to pay for the 6 that she claims were stolen, when in reality she's like, well, you stole this many from me. She's like, look, I don't want your money, just like publicly say that you stole from me and then give everyone a refund. And Acacia's like, no, I'm only gonna give specific people a refund, like only like if they ordered like before this and this time, because she had like changed the presets at that point. Like, she took out the ones that she copied and then kept the ones that she didn't copy. She's like, only if they ordered like before this time, I'll give them. And then apparently if anyone messaged her for a refund, she'd be like, when did you order it? So like, she wasn't really that happy with giving people refunds, and apparently you had to like message her to get a refund, so she wouldn't just like automatically give you one. You had to message her to get a refund. From what I could see, Ashley was not like being walked all over. She was like, look, yeah, I didn't even apologize to me. You don't even look apologetic. You just look like you've been caught and you're like really angry about it. Then a lot of fans in the comment section under like Acacia's stuff would be commenting stuff like, give Ashley a cut of the money that you made. Like, why are you not like refunding people, etc. And apparently a few people had messaged Ashley at that point. Ashley had basically shared a little bit of the conversation because they were saying how Acacia's saying stuff about the story that isn't like true necessarily. So to prove her side of the things, Ashley would show them a certain part of the conversation, not the whole conversation, just a little bit of it. And Acacia messaged her was like, are you showing everyone our conversation? I don't appreciate that. She's like, well, I don't appreciate being stolen from and then lied on, you know? It's like, you know, she's like, look, everyone's telling me in the comments to do refunds, just do refunds. And then she's like making that an issue as well. So then Acacia decides to do an apology on her like Instagram stories, but right before the Instagram stories, she does a swipe up for her presets. Like, she's like, get 20% off the presets. And the next one is like an explanation of sorts. And then Ashley messages her again and is like, look, this doesn't really look like an apology. This looks like just like a slight explanation. But people are still giving her a lot of shit for it. Like, that's not enough. Like, that's not enough. You're not taking enough blame. And then she does a full Instagram apology in like a post. So the first time on her Instagram stories, she posted, guys, I have to open up about something. Normally I would just blow past this, but I'm trying my best to be honest with myself and everyone. Earlier this week I was having a difficult time creating the last few presets for my pack, and I went out looking for inspiration. I needed the last few missing color palettes that I just couldn't quite create. I had purchased, and then she added, you know, Cherry Photo Club, which is her like preset Instagram. Summer pack and fell in love. I was immediately obsessed with them, and they had the exact tones I was missing but failed to make my own. I wanted to create similar vibes with some of my presets, but I took away business from my friend Ashley Levi, and for that I'm so apologetic. Doing this also ruined any artistic integrity. I also removed and or replaced the few that were practically identical earlier today, and I post where I'm using them, especially in the cases where they were used to promote sales of my pack. That's another thing, is like, she would use exact like those presets. She wasn't changing them. She was just using Ashley's presets to then like promote her own presets. I'm extremely ashamed and embarrassed that I cut a corner like that just to get what I was looking for. I've been chatting with her on ways to give back and want to make clear that this will absolutely never happen again. So much love to Ashley Levi for being so kind and understanding. And apparently that wasn't enough. According to essentially everyone, like everyone was angry about this. And then she posted and said, I need to share what happened yesterday, backstory and all. I've been working on summer pack and presets starting in April. It was fun, vintage and colourful, out of my norm. Basically stuff that's super cool right now. I made a couple dozen, but a lot of them just weren't right. But then I got greedy and wanted more of what I was seeing on Pinterest and Instagram that I couldn't quite figure out on my own. I should have stopped there. I had purchased Ashley Levi's summer pack to see what she used to create some of the looks I was going for, which is extremely lame to begin with. After my attempt of trying to recreate something similar, I took it a step further and just tweaked a few of her presets to my liking, keeping most of the stuff and colors the same. I stole that from her in a moment of weakness, and for that I'm sorry, ashamed, and beyond remorseful. She reached out to me, which I know was probably really uncomfortable and difficult for her, and I applaud her for doing so. I was terrified. The consequences of my actions came. Wanting to hide in my fear and not face the confrontation, I deflected and apologized. I tried to move on without facing the reality, which clearly is just more harmful to both parties in the end. As time went on, I told the whole truth, and I'm trying to tell the truth here. I stole from an artist and a business that I supported in efforts to be liked and profit from, which is extremely selfish of me. Clearly, I have a lot going on there that needs worked on and will continue to be worked on. I know some people say lots of different things about this, but I'm trying my best and working through this uncomfortableness because I want everyone who feels wrong to know that I'm sorry, especially Ash. If you want to support her presets, then check out Cherry Photo Club. I don't want sympathy, I don't want support on this. It's something that I have to deal with personally that I don't want to be comforted on. I'm also not mentally okay right now to read negativity. My DMs are still open and constructive conversations are welcomed and appreciated. Now, all of this happened. Ashley posted her video where I got most of her side on this. She posted conversations that they had, which looked very manipulative. Like Acacia kept on going, well, they weren't exactly the same, and it was just one, and then well, they were kind of the same. There was like 6, maybe 7, and then oh yeah, well there was 12. Yeah, I did steal from you. I'm sorry. Like, well, she didn't say sorry. Like, I'll give you the money if you want. And she's like calculating the maths, and it was just like a lot of it was just really uncomfortable to read. This is a form of art. You know, you have to do photography, you have to learn how to edit pictures, and not everyone knows how to do that. So if you want to, you know, cut some corners like I did, you can buy the bundle, but don't then sell it as your own bundle later on. Like, you're just allowed to use it because you bought it, but like, don't sell on someone's artistic creativity. So yeah, I just think this is like a really awful situation, and I'm glad, you know, that she's getting the praise she deserves, but like, she definitely deserves a cut of the sales and, you know, the credit where credit is due. And yeah, I think that's it on the story for today. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything, comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. So hit that bell, be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.